Remember how I said in the past I don't use TikTok? That was low-key a lie. It's just a little lie. At least I don't use it the way that it's intended to, like a social media platform. Mainly because I would like to keep my mental health and sanity intact for as long as humanly possible. It is already deteriorating, so, I don't got much time left, but I've come to the conclusion that I need to use it more like a search engine than like a social media platform. Because amongst all of the brain-dead content that you find on there, which is always the same type of content that goes viral, it's either like pseudo-psychology content, gender war content, or just AI brain rot, or just brain rot in general. There are a few gems that lurk within the weeds, There's a lot of DIY content on TikTok that gets like maybe a couple hundred views, but are really, really useful and frankly should get a lot more views. So anyways, long story short, I was looking for videos on inspiration for making earmuffs because I wanted to make a pair of earmuffs, which I successfully did. And as I was scrolling and looking through, I found this one video of another girl who was wearing some earmuffs. So naturally, I thought that it was going to be a video showing me how to make earmuffs, but it was not, because that's TikTok's algorithm for you. It just saw earmuffs and was like, oh, close enough. But instead, it was a video of a girl very excitedly sharing all of the creations that she made, which was her entire outfit that she was wearing in that video. Everything she was wearing, she made herself. She made the top, she made the earmuffs, she made the bottom, the leg warmers, and all that. I thought it was cool. So I ended up going to the comments in hopes that other people would also think that it was cool. Which was a mistake. It was a mistake. I don't know why I do this to myself every time. And it was a mistake, not because of your usual hatred and tomfoolery that you'll get in your comments, although that was definitely in there, of course, but because there was a name popping up in the comments that had absolutely nothing to do with the girl, or at least I assumed had nothing to do with the girl. And then it was causing some type of argument in the comments, because of course it did. And because I use every single conflict that I see as ideas for content, I unfortunately dove deeper down the rabbit hole. So the name that kept popping up in that comment section was Aaliyah's Interlude, or Aaliyah Core. So upon looking her up and looking into the name and who this person was, she was a musician that got quite popular on TikTok, especially for her song It Girl. And if you don't know her, you probably know the song It Girl because like every girl was playing it like on the backgrounds of their shorts and their videos at some point in time. But besides her music, you probably know her for other reasons, specifically her style and her personality. As a matter of fact, that's how I ended up finding her. Because I swear when I searched her up, she looked familiar, but I didn't recognize any of her music. But then I opened up my Pinterest and sure enough, I have like tons of pins of her TikToks saved on my Pinterest. I was like, I knew I'd seen this girl before. But again, the fact that I knew her or she seemed familiar was because she had a very distinct style. Much like how you can have a very distinct style this Black Friday with Ana Luisa Jewelry, which is a sponsor of today's video. Oh, come on, guys. You can't lie. I ate that transition up. Come on, give me some credit. So I don't have very many sponsors on this channel, mainly because nobody reaches out to me. When they do, it's a company that like I couldn't care less for what it is they're trying to sell. When Ana Luisa reached out to me the first time that they did, I was already very intrigued because I like jewelry. I wear a lot of it. I've been trying to stack up more, so it was right up my alley. If you don't know, Ana Luisa is a sustainable jewelry company and put a lot of time and effort into creating a lot of very unique and delicate looking pieces. They're very transparent about where they source the materials, what they use, who they source the materials from, and stuff like that. I still have their old pieces that they sent me that I still continue to wear almost on a daily basis. These are the silver ones. This is the Lev, and then this is the Willow. This one, I often stack these two together. Both still in great condition, no coloring at all. I mean, like I said, if you've been watching my videos, you probably see me wearing them in other videos. So this time they actually sent me some gold pieces, which is very different from what I normally wear because I usually wear silver. But I have been meaning to acquire a bit more gold pieces because my gold game is weak. And sometimes it's nice wearing jewelry that's a bit of a warmer tone, than the contrast to the cool of silver. So they sent me the Capri and Tyler necklaces, these two pieces that you see here. I stacked them up. And then the Perry and then double ash earrings. These are the Perrys. The double ash, actually, I'm wearing one as a pendant. I've been kind of like mixing and matching and stacking them up, but this is kind of what it looks like on its own. Hopefully, yeah, there you go. Excuse my dusty, crusty nails. But yeah, very, very simple pieces, but I think it adds a lot to a look, especially depending on what you're going for. They've got many pieces to choose from, especially if you like stacking pieces, and right now would be the best time in order to stock up on some pieces to stack on. For their Black Friday sale, everything is up to 30% off at their store, and then when you check out, if you spend $130, you actually get a free extra piece along with your order. So definitely check them out before the sale ends. Click the link in the description or the top comment in order to go straight to their site. You can browse all of their pieces, again, in silver or gold. They have a lot to choose from, so take advantage of the sale while you can before it ends. And thank you again for Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. Okay, so now that I've helped you with your style, let's go back to Aaliyah's style. Well, let's talk about her fashion sense first. So Aaliyah has a very bold fashion sense, I would say. She wears a lot of bold colors and accessories, very often under the fashion aesthetic alternative, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, because there's a little bit more I want to say about it in relation to like other aesthetics and stuff like that. But besides her fashion sense, her attitude in itself is very bold and outgoing. It's confident. It's a very loud personality to match her outfits. And so all of this together, she has dubbed her own aesthetic of Aaliyah-core. It's her style mixed with her personality. All of that together is what makes that her aesthetic. And we're going to get into the ins and outs of everything when it comes to her style and her personality in a second, but nothing wrong with that. Yeah, she has her own distinct personality and style and made that her own little aesthetic. Nothing wrong with that. The problem, I feel like, is more coming from her fans than anything, which is nothing new. So let's go back to the TikTok that I found earlier about the earmuffs. So this girl named Jada, she's a fashion designer and she posts her stuff that she makes on TikTok. And she once again posted that video about her making her entire outfit and how proud she was of her outfit. And all in the comments you say people talking about, this is Aaliyah-core, you're stealing from Aaliyah-core. And then it brought other people who was like, no, this isn't Aaliyah-core. People were saying it's mainly Aaliyah-core because of the earmuffs and the leg warmers, because that's kind of a signature style of Aaliyah. But Jada ended up making a video responding to these claims by showing where she originally got her fashion style from. Kawaii styles, Harajuku styles, and alternative styles are things that she was very heavily influenced by, especially when it came to Japanese street fashion and American artists like Ariana Grande. All of these things that she was already interested in well before she knew anything about Aaliyah's interlude. And interestingly, Aaliyah has also expressed during an interview, I believe, that she gets inspiration from these styles as well. Wow, two people having interest in the same styles. Oh, so crazy. Yeah, that's normal. Alternative and Japanese styles are very popular right now. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of different types of people who enjoy it. But where Aaliyah comes into this, she really helped popularize these trends and these fashion aesthetics. It started to become even more well-known. People started finding out about Aaliyah and her music. Again, nothing wrong with that. Also, nothing she can do about that. If anything, that's a good thing. But the problem is her fans will now attribute any type of aspect of a style similar to Aaliyah-core when people may have already known and wore that style before they knew Aaliyah or before she even popularized it. People like Jada. So many people were going as far as accusing Jada of plagiarizing and copying Aaliyah's style, which is why she ended up making that follow-up video to defend herself. But Aaliyah made it very clear that one, she didn't create the aesthetics that she has or that she styles herself with. She made it very clear that she got inspiration from Japanese street style and stuff that I was just talking about. And she's made it very clear not to dub anybody else's style Aaliyah-core unless they explicitly state so. But once again, that specific style was not only just about her visual appearance, but also her attitude and personality. Which, funny enough, people also accused Jada of stealing from Aaliyah as well. They literally said that she was plagiarizing the way Aaliyah talks. And it's like, they're both black women with a bubbly personality. Of course they're gonna talk similar. Like, what do you mean she stole the way she talks? And this is one of the annoying but unfortunately inevitable things about celebrities or influencers popularizing something, because we see it happen all the time. Someone with influence will make something more popular, more well-known, and then people will associate that thing with that person. You can't blame them. That's natural. That's a natural response. But the problem is when fans specifically deem that person the originator or the creator, even when the celebrity themselves say otherwise, and then they attack other people for copying them, or they'll just put a label on somebody else just because they did something similar to this person with influence. And then it makes the whole entire situation really murky, because now people will utilize it as hate fuel towards these certain influencers and celebrities like Aaliyah in this situation, even though the whole thing isn't even her fault. And the fans come in to do damage control, even though y'all are the ones who created the damage in the first place. So then they'll attack people who are being hateful towards Aaliyah, which is fine, sure. Because yeah, people will just kind of hop on the hate train and be like, oh, she didn't make this style, her style isn't even good, like I hate her, she's so annoying. Right, they'll play that game. Once again, she didn't claim to make these styles, number one, and number two, if you find her annoying, you don't like her music, just don't listen to it, it's not that hard. But then the fans will start attacking a person who may be making a fair point with certain criticisms or just trying to express the frustration on how people are putting them under a label of a style that a celebrity popularized. And then these fans will completely dismiss it as, oh, you're just hating, just because other people may use it as hate fuel. So just as an example, when researching videos for this video, I found a TikTok of a girl expressing these frustrations that I just mentioned. She mentioned that this type of style was very heavily made fun of in the past, but now all of a sudden it's a lot more accepted when it's related to Aaliyah-core. And of course, just for the record, Aaliyah does still get clowned for it. You're always going to have people who will hate on your style. But again, she popularized it, meaning there are going to be a lot more more people who are more accepting of it simply because it's trendy now. And I completely get this frustration. Having something be the trend to hate, and then suddenly a few years later it's the exact opposite. It gets all popular and now it's the new trend that everybody loves is very bothersome. I actually mentioned this in my nonchalant video that I made a while back. But being nonchalant or having traits that are adjacent to it of being quiet and reserved, those were never seen as admirable or attractive traits. And now suddenly everyone's romanticizing it on the internet, being like, I want to be mysterious and nonchalant. Meanwhile, the shy kids in the corner of the class are being bullied. And you can really apply this to all types of things, but it's especially prominent in the fashion space. Crocs used to be the laughingstock of fashion a while back. Now all of a sudden everybody has a pair. So like the girl in the TikTok that I just showed, her frustrations are valid and understandable. And it is once again not even directed towards Aaliyah. It's her fans who are the issue, which she's talked about. But people will immediately get offended on Aaliyah's behalf, saying that you're just hating, you just hate to see her win, and even bringing race into the conversation by saying I just don't want to see a dark-skinned woman win. Now, I'm gonna be very, very real here. Do people make racist comments towards her and use any form of criticism as argumentative hate fuel? Yes. One thing you will learn is that being black, especially darker on the internet, is going to bring about some interesting insults. Now, I've gotten some racist comments I've never seen before. I almost had to commend them for their creativity. Yeah, of course, a lot of people may have their hatred be racially motivated. But once more, people just trying to bring reason to her fans isn't being hateful. Trying to bring up the fact that calling every single thing that is, once again, adjacent to Aaliyah core, even if it isn't, is kind of a weird thing to do. Bringing that up isn't hateful because Aaliyah herself agrees with that statement. Yes, people can utilize that argument for a reason to fuel their hate, but that doesn't nullify the argument itself. This is something people will do all the time to completely avoid an argument. It's just purposefully being ignorant. It doesn't stop the criticism from being true, but yes, people can weaponize it. We deal with those people separately. There's plenty of reasons that people like Aaliyah would get a lot of hate. Again, people don't like how bold she is and outgoing. And yes, a lot of people are just racist. They are just mad to see a black woman win. But you also have to remember she got very popularized by the song It Girl, a song that you've heard 1,000,001 times in TikToks and shorts. People will hate for absolutely no reason just because a person's song blew up on TikTok. And no, this is not a black exclusive thing. Benson Boone is the very first person that comes to mind when thinking about this, because I feel like it kind of happened recently, unless it didn't and I'm just late. But his song Mystical Magical blew up, and then everyone started relentlessly hating on this guy, and they still are actively. So it is just an unfortunate side effect of blowing up very quickly, especially on a platform like TikTok. That's number one. Number two, black people are also not the only ones who may popularize something, and people will clown on the fan base because they made it seem like they invented it. Not too long ago was a whole thing that Kylie Jenner, I believe, wore a tank top to a basketball game. And the picture went viral because she wore a plain white tank top. And then it became the fashion trend to go running to Walmart to get you a pack of white Hank tank tops. Even though people have been wearing these for how long? No, Kylie obviously didn't invent the fashion sense of wearing a white tank top, but the fans made it seem that way, and it was ridiculous. So again, as much as people could use race as their argumentative fuel or just hate to see a black woman win, it's not the case with the people who are genuinely just trying to point these things out and make good points. Yes, Aaliyah didn't make the styles that she's wearing. A lot of us know that. She said that several times. So even people who have an aesthetic or a style similar to hers, they didn't create it either. They most likely got the inspiration from somewhere else. Because of course there's no such thing as being original. I've talked about this quite a few times in my videos, but there's no way you can like completely create something entirely new as long as the earth has been here and as long as people have had ideas. So originality isn't the issue. That's not what a lot of people are getting upset about. It's the individualism aspect of the problem. I've also talked about individualism on my channel, but individualism isn't all bad because at the end of the day, we are still individuals. Sure, we as individuals are hot pots of things that we like because we've seen it on TV or because we were validated or influenced to buy something or wear something or dress a certain way. But at the end of the day, it still makes us us. We have our own styles and our own personalities and all of these different aspects to ourselves. So when you completely invalidate that, you make people basically feel non-existent. Putting a label on a person because someone with a bigger influence has a similar style to you is kind of messed up. And this is the ignorance that I'm talking about with a lot of her fans, and just fans in general who for some reason cannot understand this concept. There were so many comments underneath like some of the videos, like that one girl who was talking about the whole situation. Why does it bother you so much? It's not that big of a deal. It's not that deep. It's because you're out here accusing people of copying and plagiarizing a different person in their style, basically calling them an off-brand version, even though that's not the case. That's exactly what a lot of people ended up doing with Jada, literally calling her like a knockoff Aaliyah, copying Aaliyah. Aaliyah, plagiarizing Aaliyah, this is just Aaliyah core, are you for real? Completely dismissing the fact that this could also just be her own style that is similar to Aaliyah, not the other way around. Not only are you accusing her of plagiarizing her, but she also can't even have her own individuality because she's not famous or she doesn't have influence. And that's what I think made the situation a lot more worse and why it upset Jada as much as it did, because she worked so hard on all of these pieces of clothing that she wanted to share. She did this all herself with her own personal style, and she did all this and wanted to share it to the world just for you to basically give the credit to somebody else. Even if you don't think that's what you did, that's what you did. A lot of people straight up just said, you're copying Aaliyah, completely dismissing the possibility that she could just have a similar style to Aaliyah. But because she doesn't have the influence that Aaliyah has, she's basically not worthy of her own style. It's not hers, it's attributed to somebody else with more influence. I think it's really great that Aaliyah was able to popularize so many of the styles that she has, and created as her own style, so that many people can explore and be more confident about fashion. You can see she's made a very big impact on that. There's so many girls who now want to dress like her and feel more confident. That's a great thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So many fans have expressed that they didn't even know anything about alternative styles before they found Aaliyah. Great, that's good for you, cool, fine, and dandy. But you do know that's just you, right? That doesn't apply to everybody else. You must at least be aware of the fact that the style most likely existed before you found it because of a certain influencer or a celebrity or whoever it was. It's not fair to put a label on somebody just because they resemble, this famous person, or again, a person with more influence that you personally know. You're basically saying that person doesn't have their own character because there's somebody with more influence that has a similar character. And it's one of the many aspects of celebrity and fan relationships, and just our perception of celebrities in general, where your value comes a lot from your influence. And we just need to be careful about that and how we label things. People can have the same style or a similar style, but they can also make it their own with their own personality, their own small aspects of themselves, which is exactly what Aaliyah did. She made a name for herself because she's so confident, because she's so bold, and she expresses that through her fashion, and it's really cool. But just because somebody with influence popularizes something doesn't mean they're the only ones who are doing it, or the first people to have done it. And once more, a lot of celebrities will make this very clear. It's the fans that ruin everything. Taking that individualism from smaller people or smaller creators, wherever it may be, basically just killing their personal style. And it doesn't really feel good to know that you are constantly going to be living in somebody else's shadow. But anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to check the link in the description for Ana Luisa's pieces. Remember, their Black Friday sale, you get 30% off on your order. And if your order reaches $130, you will also get a free piece of jewelry. So do not miss out. Click the link in the description so you can get the pieces before the sale ends. Thanks again for Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video.